Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for today's Q&A session. Hello, Diana. It's lovely to see you again.
Hi there. I'm trying to get you up on my screen here.
So, Colleen, we have some international
Wonderful
people joining us today. Diana, tell us where you're from, because Colleen's not met you before.
Chandler, Arizona.
Okay, that's awesome.
On the west coast of the United States.
So we've had really great feedback to your videos, Colleen. It's been really awesome. A few people have watched and given really awesome feedback. So thank you so much for doing this with us. Hello, and I can only see you as Galaxy A30s. Hi, hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Still no audio. Okay, she says hello. Hello. Okay, so to save time, because we do only have half an hour and I'd like to cram as much value in as I can, I think I'm going to start with a question that somebody actually sent me in. A lady said she couldn't make it to the Q&A session. So she sent in this question. Caroline Buerta asks, I would love to know more about costing. My CMT charges me to CMT, but I still need to pay for the pattern and fabric buttons and zips. I battle sometimes to work out a price that is still affordable to my wholesale clients and still has profit in for me. But lately I feel like I don't make enough for all my effort. Again, the thing that she said, how do you create your own value in the system and value yourself highly enough while still paying for all the costs and then still selling garments at a price that's affordable? Hello, Siska.
Mel, won't you unmute Galaxy A30s?
I'm trying.
Yeah, I sent a message.
There we go, got it.
Can you hear?
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So, Mel, I can give you a short answer, but we are going to do the costing schedule next week.
Okay.
And that will be the long answer because there is a schedule that will do things like all of the haberdashery, the R&D costs, the research and development costs for a pattern, and how to amortize that into a total wholesale cost. But to quickly answer that question, we normally work on a ratio of the fabric is 60% of the cost of the total manufacturing of the garment.
Okay.
And so your CMT will be part of the 40% that's left, and that will include your haberdashery, your pattern development, your grading, and all of that. How do you amortize a pattern in cost? This is where, when we have developed the block and the silhouette, and those are known as part of our fit, we can then start to recoup some of the R&D costs of a pattern, because it's very difficult in one CMT run to recoup your pattern making costs.
Okay. So you really recommend that clothing manufacturers run a style more than once?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Or that they can run a permutation of that style because they know the fit is fantastic. And so it would be, I mean, the top that I'm wearing today, because I tend to carry weight on my tummy, is an elliptical shape. So it flatters my flat bottom, but hides my big tummy. And I wear it as a vest, as a long sleeve, as a flare sleeve. And so I have at least 3 permutations of the fit, because the fit is what actually will get me through every year of recutting that garment winter or summer season.
Okay, that's very.
And so once we get to the wholesale price, we normally add on 5% for, you know, falling off the horse, forgetting about a stupid little sidewinder that should have been set in the side seam that we didn't cost, or that what was quoted in sample fabrics, we landed up having to pay more at customs, and so I've now got a knock-on cost. And so that 5% should be the forgiveness for unexpected things. And then we normally only mark up 40% at a wholesale price. And then if you are selling online, you can put on your own markup or into boutiques. But you are only normally making about 40% on a production run.
Okay. Okay. So then really, if you need to make more money off it, you need to sell volume.
Sell volume or amortize certain costs over 3 or 4 seasons or 3 or 4 years.
Okay. Okay. I remember I've spoken to a couple of designers who say to me that they've got a particular garment that they just make year after year after year after year after year because it's like bread and butter.
Yeah, I mean, my pull-on pants with a kidney elastic does very well for mature women because the elastic holds our tummies in. And they know my leg length is good. They know my thigh width is good. My leggings, I can cut year in, year out, 3/4 or full length, hot pants. Doesn't matter, but the fit of the crutch is fantastic.
I've got a couple of those and I'm still wearing them.
Yeah. And so people will know your basics. And that was another question from this lady, Karin. She is cutting ranges year in and year out with bog standards and using up to 5 colorways. I normally go to about 4, so your 3 standards plus a fashion color, and that gets you enough cutting to make a 25 minimum that we've discussed before in cutting orders.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you. So, okay, now, thank you, Colleen. Now that we've got everybody in the room, can we just have some introductions? Diana has introduced herself. Galaxy A30S, can you please introduce yourself to us?
I'm not sure if that is me.
Yes, that's you.
Is that me? Wonderful. My name is Alma. I'm in Stellenbosch, and I'm just going to start out my own range at the moment. I spent a year at Lysop a few years ago. So I have the basic background of what's happening, but exactly like Colleen is saying, there's so much attention on the illustration and all these sort of things that when you actually get involved in it on a practical basis, you actually see all the loopholes. So yes, I've tried my hand at a few things and it's gone very well. Being in Stellenbosch, the house dance and all these sort of dresses has been very popular. Although my cost, I mean, the way Colleen explained costing was totally irrelevant. I just took a thumbs up and I made a bit of money and that was it. Now, obviously, wanting to go bigger, one has questions. Thank you so much. I mean, what you're saying is so insightful. One of my questions would be specifically relating to the costing formula that you've discussed with us.
Yes.
And my question is, one doesn't want to sit with, you know, a CMT that's produced a lot of sizes and perhaps a style or two that sticks. So what is your recommendation with regards to entering the market? I have an idea of exactly what you said now with a few basic standard colors and then bringing in your fashion colors, not having 2200 styles, but a basic style that works. But how do I avoid sitting with a lot of stock?
That's an easy one. Thanks.
and can we introduce Siska also and then answer all the questions together? Okay, because I feel that Siska's been left out up to now. So Siska, if you can just introduce yourself to us.
No, I don't feel left out at all. Thank you for doing this. I'm in the UK and yeah, I need to find a way to earn some money. So I can sew and I've been doing this for a while. So, and I'm quite tall. So my main shop to buy tall people's stuff has been Long Tall Sally, and they are closing down due to the current situation. So I was thinking maybe, you know, there's a niche market to get into. And then this popped up and I thought, oh, this will be useful for me to find out, is it worth my while going down that rabbit hole? Because clothes in the UK is incredibly cheap or incredibly expensive. So there's no way I will ever be able to compete on, on the cheap side. And then it's worthwhile, what you guys say about how you cost and how you work your whole production line out. So yeah, thank you for doing that. And also, I was thinking, maybe I can use. Well, this is part of the. You said we do introductions. That was an introduction. That's fine. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Just Diana, what do you manufacture?
I don't, I tend to do products rather than clothing. I've just started moving into clothing right now. And typically I'm working with charities and developing products that the charities can use. I have a friend who's a volunteer coordinator for a hospice. We've done several products for her. And I just enjoy the process. I enjoy the design process, especially making the prototypes. I appreciate and I like to understand how clothing works. I have trouble when I try to make 100 of anything, but for the charities, when I know the destination, when I know who it's going for, I can crank out sewing. I can sew like a bench. So I'm kind of just playing on the edges.
Thank you. Okay. So Elna, let's go back to your question. Just rephrase it for me or remind me of it.
Certainly. If I go to what you discussed on the costing formula, I do understand that price per item is going to be lower if production is higher, purely because the CMT is going to be able to make up what they need to make up. But I don't want to sit with a lot of stock.
Yes. Okay.
How do I handle stock control and still pay a good price?
So the first thing for me is on your standards, on the things that will sell year in, sell year out. It's okay to sit with a bit of stock for the next season because that they are bog standards and you're going to sell them next season. And then how do you manage your pre-selling? And
well, I'm going to do online. I'm going to do online e-commerce.
Okay. And so I go back to my golden rule is anything under 25 units and you are not going to recoup your R&D costs. Anything to 100, over 100, you start to make profit. And so you are sitting between 25 and 100 units.
Okay.
And then know what your risk is. And so then it goes back to that your stories are a lot smaller.
Okay.
And so conservatively, I would only be offering 5 items in a story.
Okay,
so
thank you very much.
2 bottoms. And so, if you do the leggings and what you lose on the swings, you're going to make up on the roundabout. Your leggings and your pull-on pants, then your cami sort of top, and then your over top and jacket, and there you've got a story of 5.
Okay, I get that.
So maybe your bottoms would be a pants and a skirt. So for the girls who won't wear pants, you've got a skirt option. And so it's conservative until you see how the market responds to the label.
How do I do sizing to ensure that I don't oversize when I go into this sort of minimum items? Because people are obviously going to order and I will have to deliver within a certain period of time.
Sure. So it is obviously easier if we're working in knit or stretch.
Sure.
Or a woven with a 8 to 14% elastin, so that between your size grades, and we will do grading in 2 weeks' time on the 13th of August. you've got your 5 centimeter grade plus 8 to 14% elastin. And so I do not recommend doing more than 4 sizes if you're starting out. And so you can do your S, M, L, XL, or depending on your people, your extra small to a large, or your large to 3XL. Who are your target market?
Okay.
And yeah, once you can see the market, you'll be able to also look at your size curve. And so
Okay, right.
doing 2 smalls, 2 mediums, 1 large, 1 extra large, or are we doing 1 small, 1 medium, 2 large, 2 extra large? What is your size curve?
Dependent on the target market. I understand that. Wonderful. Thank you. Can I ask you another question?
Let's come back, give everyone a turn, and then we'll cycle.
Okay. Thank you, Colleen.
Siska Darmel, any questions that are sitting?
Yes, please. Is it better to, because I'm thinking, say leggings, you mentioned leggings before. Is it better to make just leggings in different fits? So say I concentrate on tall women, and then I concentrate on fitting them with either a small bottom or a big bottom or saddlebags, or, you know, is it better to concentrate on the fit than to complete the outfit?
On a beginning range like this, there is a danger in niching too much. Okay. And so if you are working in knit, again, there is so much forgiveness in a knit garment in that if I've got saddlebags, I'll take up some of the stretch. And so if I've got a skinny waist, then I'm not really utilizing the elastic in the waistband. It's actually just sitting unstretched on my waist. But if I'm an apple shape, then I will utilize all of the elastic comfortably. So I'm leery of going towards fit. And for my length, if you are going to go for the tall girls, then know that you maybe deliver the leggings unhemmed. So the nice thing about most knits will not fray. And, you know, nowadays with modern finishing, you can get away without hemming. And so the shorter girls could then take up 2 centimeters and not have the extra length, but the longer girls would benefit from the 2 centimeters. And so, Siska, I'm very leery of being too specific in a niche.
Okay. Okay, that's very, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
It's actually interesting advice, Colleen, because a lot of particularly marketing talks that I listen to online, they say that it's vital to find your niche and work into that. So it's very interesting to hear that you're giving different advice and saying first test the market before you commit to that niche.
Yeah, and I have worked with people who are very niche, and so to honor a friend in the clothing industry who is no longer with us, Nikki Rendell, you may have remembered her. She was such a pioneering spirit, and Nikki had a very specific niche in that she understood portly short Jewish women. And her boutique was in a famously Jewish suburb in Johannesburg. And her garments were fabulous because she understood from a Jewish religious sensitivity that most Jewish women do have to cover their shoulders. And being more on the short and portly side, or let's use Haley Joy's word, size inclusive, she understood layering. But I know from my target market is again, a taller woman and more athletic. And so if ever I did a sale with Nikki Rendell's stuff, is I did brilliantly, because what works on short women in layering works very well for tall women.
Yes.
And so I could literally go into Nix's store and go, this, and this, and know exactly how that wardrobe would fit together for my 5'11" person. Because the layering is all about proportion. And when we get the proportions right, What works on a short person will also work on a tall person in a different combination.
Mm.
So yeah, so I hope that's useful. And sorry, Mel, I just wanted to catch, there's something else that I really wanted to talk about, but I've forgotten it. So go ahead, Mel.
Sorry. So are you suggesting that maybe if a designer wants to just kind of keep that story small, but they'd like to add some other garments, that perhaps they then collaborate with another designer who's already producing something?
Yes. And so because I'm quite bespoke and I don't manufacture per se, that was never my focus in the clothing industry, but I do love supporting other designers. And so this was some of the questions that were emailed to me around how do you launch a new range? Well, you don't have to launch your own range. You can support another person in their business and do a collaborative sale or return with designers and have, host your own parties. And so I would, at the end of a masterclass series, host a home selling party and invite a couple of the designers that I adore their styling. And so because of good relationships, I could go into a Nikki Rendell store and literally walk out with 100,000 rands worth of stock because she trusted me, and then go to Sanderson, and then go to Clive Rundle, and then go to Marianne Fassler, and have 4 totally different handwritings, and allow a couple of other young designers who just finished the master classes to bring their own stock. And then we would do collective marketing lists. And so, my mail shot would go out, all of the students' mail shots would go out, and we would do a selling party on a Saturday. And the designers would offer me a small commission. What a pleasure. That would cover my time for fetching and delivering the garments back. And we could easily clear 50 G's worth of stock in a morning. And so if you are wanting to do an active wear range, and so this is for Vanessa, you don't have to develop your own range. Contact somebody like Megs Hendry and Jane Canny, who have developed the Onasa range, and say, I would like to sell your products at a party on a sale and return basis. If you need to give them a deposit, that's also reasonable. And see who buys that, and understand from there, what is the market doing, and how does my market of my list of people that would support me in my business respond to activewear. And then you've got fantastic information before you even have to go and buy fabric and manufacture your own stock.
That's actually a great strategy for doing some research and development before you commit a chunk of money to
other people's businesses.
Yes.
It's a win. Everyone wins on that one.
Yes.
And it's all about relationship. And so you don't, and this goes back to Alna's question, then you don't have to manufacture 100 garments and sit with stock. There's no risk. It's a sale or return. And so if that boutique wasn't open on a Saturday, or say we hosted a party on a Sunday, when people have got access to childcare because there's grannies or partners around who can look after the kids, those women can come in and shop, and you're out. And the boutique was closed anyway on a Sunday. They've got nothing to lose. And then you are true to your word, and you get those garments back by 8:30 in the morning before the shop opens at 9. Perfect. Okay, Da, are there any questions from you?
I had a question about patterns, but the thought that was flitting through my mind as you were talking about coordinating with other designers was accessories.
Yes.
I've been playing with flowers, with flower shapes, and with making flowers. And I've been trying to figure out where they would go. What's the destination for this thing? Because I have a general policy that says I don't make things unless I know where the audience is, what the group is going for. And I typically am looking for feedback from the group about how the products work in the groups. And so a friend and I have been playing with flowers. And so as you were talking, I was thinking about there's a group of emerging designers here. And one of the things I do notice with the runway shows I do go to is that because they're starting, they have no accessories. They're dependent upon the models wearing their shoes. But if I were to parallel, because I know generally their design aesthetic, I know generally what kinds of fashions they do. It might be a destination for my flower creations.
Absolutely. So Caroline Buerter from Belladonna for You, I think I've got the label right, sent me her lookbook for the year. And in it, she has included the most extraordinary, beautiful handmade shoes. And so there is for me a lot about collaboration. And you know, because of you, I am. That wonderful African philosophy of Ubuntu, that if I have a generosity of spirit and showcase other people's work, we are only going to be stronger because of that. And then it's not about, oh, they didn't like my stuff. It's about, I'm still going to earn a 15% commission on selling those shoes, those flowers, that handmade jewelry. So yeah, and a good way to test where the flowers go. What market is going to respond to those flowers?
Well, and it's such a specialized thing. It's such a unique and specialized thing, and I delight in figuring out the shapes and figuring out how they go together, and then and seeing the result. And if I can use, I've been playing with scraps mostly. So I have several designers who have lines and things like that. And so I'm realizing now that I should go back and speak to my friend up in Oregon who works in tinsel. She's actually given me scraps. So if I were to make some things for her and send them to her and see if she can use them in some of the stuff that she does, because she markets online and she used to do, I don't know what you call them there, they're craft shows, I guess, just farmers markets, another term we use. That may be another location, especially if tinsel is a dyeable thing, and so the color is always of particular interest. And she has a very, very conservative color scheme in her line. I know, I love the colors that she sends me, but I could probably do some things that help highlight her particular set of clothing. And if all she does is use them in her photographs, then
Fantastic.
It's good. It's only goodness, isn't it? Part of my problem is I'm not in it for profit. Sure. I'm in it because I love to do it. I like what I do. I'm happy in doing what I do. I'm happy in understanding how other people work, because I'm not after putting a wrench in anybody's machinery. I'm after helping. So several times designers will send me something and say, "Can you sew these labels on for me?" I'm in a crunch. I have a delivery, and I'll go in and I'll just, okay, what is it you need done? I'm happy to help. So you're right. We do what we can, in terms of cooperating and collaborating.
Perfect. I'm going to go back to Elna. What was your second question?
Okay, my second question thank you, Colleen, had to do with knits and woven, but I think what you said is you're going to touch on it on the 13th of August, because what I found is you don't just get knits and woven, you get your two-way knits and you get your four-way knits and you get the different percentages of stretch. And that's a little bit of a tricky one for me, because I sit and I make my own samples and fit it to myself, and I want to see if it works. I'm quite short. I really enjoyed what you said about layering. And obviously, the more information one gets, the better. But my question had to do with the different knits. And my other question had to do with your master classes. Maybe you're going to touch on these sort of things in your master classes. I'm not sure. What's the cost of that? Is it available online? So it's a lot of questions all in one. Sorry.
So the master classes are not yet available online because so much of what I do is a practical demonstration where you are looking and watching me do what I do. They are specifically designed for people who have passed through colleges and do not yet have all of the necessary equipment in their toolbox of knowledge, and for people who have been successful in business and are looking at another entrepreneurial expression. There are 7 classes and they're specifically designed to cover most of what you would need. They are 3 hours, they are intensive, and so yeah, I can post stuff about the breakdown of those master classes. And sorry, I'm so forgetful at the moment. Just remind me your questions.
Okay, my other question had to do with the wovens and knits and the different stretches on knits that you get. How do I determine
Yes.
the different stretches and what will work for what?
So when I make woven patterns, you tend to have less elastin, if there's even elastin in a woven pattern. And so I create the pattern not taking any of the elastin into account. The elastin is purely then for lateral movement and ease of fit. With my knit patterns, I am usually working on cotton lycra, you know, viscose knit, pretty similar stretches. And there I have my tried and tested block, and then it's just a permutation onto the block. But the fit in terms of crutch, armhole, shoulder pitch and sleeve pitch, those are all inculcated into the knit block. Then my next thing is that because I cannot accommodate every knit in every season that's going to come through, is that my fit is then more general and forgiving.
Okay, sure.
And part of that is I do like working with a size inclusive model. Big girls do not get good fits, especially not good graded patterns. And so I understand a bigger woman, but also my market is not skinny bootylicious.
Okay, sure.
So I think, you know, for me, it's always around, I am working on a block and a silhouette and a fit that is forgiving for most women.
Okay, 100, because the South African women's fit. Just a question, whilst you're busy with this, that's come up, where do you go first? Do you choose your fabric first or you make your best pattern first?
And normally we would go fabric first. And I would, as a pattern maker, expect the designer to give me a fabric swatch. So I know what I'm working with in terms of tolerance. But sure. Most pattern makers work without even a fabric swatch.
That's difficult. Yeah, that's difficult because you don't know what the stretch is going to be.
No.
And if so you're going to find the colors and so that you're looking for.
My fit is excellent. And so it will work with most fabrics that are used to cut in, whether it's woven or knit. Focus on the fit. The fit is what's going to get your customer back every single year.
Okay,
so
thank you so much.
About 5 minutes left.
Yeah, 5 minutes left, ladies. 5 minutes left. And if I may, because I feel that Colleen is really, really great at giving 150% if she possibly can, and then she doesn't get around to her own self-promotion.
Oh.
So
that's fine. Have you got questions left from viewers that have sent you direct messages on Facebook?
Well, I think that what we can do is Colleen has very kindly offered to add 2 more episodes to the series. When we first planned it, this was supposed to be the last one. And she has very, very kindly offered to add 2 more episodes to the series that we will be recording over the next 2 weeks. And then perhaps what we could do is at the end of that, we can consolidate with another Q&A session if you would be open to that. Because then we'll have the entire series of videos included, and then we can come back and do another Q&A. And then
My mind.
Okay, awesome. We're in the same place. Okay, and then I would also just like to say I have personally attended one or two of Colleen's masterclasses, and they absolutely blew my mind. I know it might be costly and difficult for you to travel to get to Colleen for these masterclasses, but they are totally worth it. There's just stuff that she gets into that I wouldn't even know how to translate onto video, because when you see what she does, and also she works with you, she gives you the specific answers that you need in those master classes. They really are worth every cent you pay for them. And if you are wanting to sign up for Colleen's masterclasses, anybody who's watching, you can contact her at colleen@patternworks.co.za, and I'm going to spell that COLLEEN at PATTERNWORKS.co.za. So we've got 3 minutes left, ladies. Shall we do just a round of goodbyes, starting with Siska, maybe?
Well, thank you so much for this, and it was fantastic hearing the South African accents, and I'm looking forward to more of this. And yeah, I am now spinning. My head is spinning. This is great. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
So keep watching, Siska, because we've got costing schedules next week, and then on the 13th we'll do grading, and then the 20th we'll do Q&A. So yeah, keep watching, and I will keep you in mind when we do the grading on what to do with taller silhouettes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Anna?
Colleen, thank you so much. Melanie, thank you so much for starting this. Luckily, I was involved right from word go. It's amazing. It's very interesting. It's helping me a lot, and it's also putting me back because I want more information before I'm going to actually go into this whole thing. And I'd love to go to Joburg. So, Colleen, I'm going to send you a mail for information on those masterclasses, please.
Thank you for that feedback,
Thank you.
Elna. Diana?
Thank you, Colleen. Thank you so much. Thank you, Melanie. It blows my mind. It really does to see, the amount of information that you have, and your generosity has been most impressive for everybody in the group and for you two guys. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for joining us all the way from the USA. It's exciting.
In less than a minute, to honor Mel for being so extraordinarily generative, so incredible as an entrepreneur, and so phenomenal as a networker to pull us all together in a room. And so, Melly, as always, I consider myself very privileged that we sit under the same tree.
You know how much I love you.
So much.
Okay, so thank you, ladies, for joining us today. That was awesome. And I appreciate all of you for co-creating this piece of magic with me. Thank you for all adding your value and your questions. And Zoom is about to cut us off, so I'm going to end the meeting here. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.